And starting recording. So yesterday, until previous class, we have looked at around advanced reports. We have looked at calculated fields and all this stuff, right? So today we'll be going into basically EIBs, outbound EIBs. So we'll start with building a simple outbound EIB first. So in any EIBs are actually two types. So you have inbound and you have outbound EIB, right? So the entire, when you say an EIB, right, I mean, the entire cycle is actually only 3 steps. So you have one is to get data. The next is transform data. And the third is deliver data. Okay. So in EIB is basically 3 steps: getting the information, transforming the information into the required format, and delivering the information. For example, when you talk about inbound EIB, right? An inbound EIB, what are you getting data? You're basically getting information from outside, right? So you're getting inbound in sense you get the information outside of Workday. You're getting that information and loading into Workday, right? You can, when an inbound EIB, you can get that information in an Excel template and load it into Workday directly. You don't need any transformation because it's already transformed Excel template. You load it into Workday. Whereas an outbound EIB, you get the data from Workday, right? You get the data from Workday, transform the data using XSLT or any delivered transformation logic. So there is a delivered transformation logic also, transformation code as well. So we use XSLT or delivered transformation and we deliver it to some SFTP server or something like that. So always an EIB has only 3 steps: get data, transforming data, and delivering data. Right? Only just 3 steps. You just need to configure those 3 steps. Okay, pretty clear right there. So I'm gonna say we'll start with outbound. Okay, we will look at it. Click on outbound, click OK. Okay, like I said, right, 3 steps: get data, transform data, and deliver data. So you only have 3 steps always. Let me just clear off everything, clear all guys. Okay. So first thing is general settings, like name of the EIB, the ID associated with the EIB on the back end. If you want any comments or any description that needs to be added, that will be here. And then get data, right? So where do you get the data from, right? So when an outbound, like you said, so data is coming from Workday. So your source of the information is always Workday for an outbound EIB. So I have 2 data source types here. One is a custom report and the other one is web service. Usually 99% we'll use custom report. We won't use web service to get data from EIBs usually. So we'll go with custom report. And you give here a custom report that you created. So we created some batch 3 report. So none of our batch 3 reports are available here, especially because none of them are actually designed to be available in EIB. Right? So let's go for one of our report here. Mm-hmm. 0, sorry. So let's use the bigger one. let's just use this, the part 3 one, right? So whenever you're creating a custom report, so when you see an option called, let's say, when you say create custom report, you'll see an option like web service. When you pick an advanced report, there's an option called enable as web service, right? So what is this? You are enabling your report as a web service, so you can use that report in integration. So that is when you check this box, right? If you miss to check this box, when you finished your report, you can go back, click on edit, and then go to advanced tab right here, and then you can say enable as web service right there. Web service API version, you can leave it as the latest one. This is the namespace. Namespace is by default, Workday gives us this namespace based on the report name. Okay, this namespace is used to refer it in Excel and also use it. Anyways, you can have everything like this, enable as web service. And if you see the columns right now only have column heading overrides, right? But click OK, you should start seeing the XML overrides, column heading XML overrides. Okay. Go back to edit, your XML overrides appear. Column heading overrides are something that you see on the UI, like when you run your report, you see your column headings. XML overrides are on the backend heading. They are the tags of your XML. So these are your XML overrides for now. It's okay. And within our outbound EIB, now you should be able to see our batch report. Drill down to details. You have an alternate output format here. So this is basically a drop-down menu where you can pick different outputs that report is available on. Right. So these will match your report web service URL. So if I go to actions on my report, I have this web service here. When you enable it as web service, you see this option. You can say view URL. It's okay. You see all these XML alias, right? You have your Workday XML, REST, you have your digital for that for your report, you have your simple XML, and you have your schema for your report. You have a CSV output, RSS, JSON, GData. So let's click on simple XML right now. I'm gonna open something. I'm gonna sign in. Oh no. So this is my report output in an XML format. I have my WT report data, report entry, employee ID, hire date, total base pay, whatever this cal field is giving, and the prompt value, right? So you have all your fields in this XML. Report entry, report entry, report entry, all over the place, right? So that is your simple XML. Workday XML, I don't think it will be any different. So Workday XML, if you see, employee ID is same, hire date is same, everything is same except for the prompt value. Because it is an instance, it's a single instance, you got your worker name here, Jill Jones, you got your employee ID, you got your GUID also for that worker, the WID for that worker, which is not available on your simple XML. Simple XML, you only got your employee name. Whatever you see in the UI, it will just give you that. So that's the difference between simple and Workday XML. So Workday XML for instances, like for instance, like you are outputting position or something, right? Whatever is an instance on your report, you're gonna get the bits and the reference IDs for those bits as well in Workday XML. CSV, it will directly output you as CSV. Yeah, you should be able to see the same report in a CSV format. Oh, it's a CSV format. Okay, let me open it in Notepad. Drag and drop it here. Okay. This is the CSV format, separated by commas, and everything is there. It's the same report in a different format. Same way you can get an, I don't know what GData is, but you can get a JSON, which is one more useful thing. You can get a JSON as well if you want. Right, you have your report entry total base by name, value, name, value, name, value, name, value pairs. Okay, so this is your JSON, right? So on an outbound EIB also, you have all those alternate formats. If you want to just output any of those alternate formats, you can just do it. I can say simple, I want a CSV out of my report, right? You can just pick that. And then you click on transform. Right now you're saying I want a CSV out of it, so you don't want to transform anything. So the transformation only applies for when your input or when your get data is giving you information in XML. Either it has to be Workday XML, which is blank. You don't give any alternate output format. It gives you Workday XML, or it has to be simple XML. So these are the only two formats where you can write your transformation on. Rest of them, you just output whatever you're getting from your report. So I'm just giving CSV. I don't put any transformation. I go to delivery. Within delivery, I have a lot of options. Again, I can do an Amazon S3, AS2, email. I can do FTP, FTP, SSL, HTTP. SFTP is the most popular one, and you can also use a Workday attachment. If you have SFTP, you give the SFTP credentials here, the URL, directory, authentication. You can select between SSH authentication, username, password. Username, password is this. SSH is authentication where you pass a key pair instead of password. You can do both username and SSH if you want. And username, you can enter your username and password and things like that. Let's get back to, we don't have an SFTP server to test, so we're gonna use Workday attachment right here. And we're gonna put a file. In the document 30, and then you have other options. So what is document policy, right? So whatever the number of days you set here, those are the only that's the limit until when the document is available on your output file. So after that time, you won't see the document on your output file. Right? So document retention policy is the number of days to keep the resulting document. Maximum is 180. You can only keep a document 180 days. If set to 0, the document will not be retained for the access after integration has been executed. Note the document retention policy is required when used in conjunction with any Workday attachment access protocol. You can only set the document can be retained until 180 days, not more than that. Sequence generator for file, we'll get to sequence generator later. It's just a file naming format. Encryption, decryption. Okay, click next. So you have your get data. You got your information from a custom report. Transform data. Currently, nothing. You are not transforming anything. Delivering data. You're delivering it as a Workday attachment. Like me, keeping it in Workday. Run this. Go to action, integration, launch. Run out. Click OK. Then you have to give your prompts, right? You have to give your prompts. Because your report has prompts, your EIB automatically takes the prompts. Whatever report parameters are, your log parameters for your EIB are those. File name, you can use the system default, which is your first EIB file.csv. Or you can use something called determine value at runtime, or you can specify a different value than whatever you are outputting here. Now I'm going to leave it to default. Document retention policy is the same. System default is 30. You can override it with something else, but just click run. Okay. Let it run. Okay, successful. I think it should complete right now. And you should see after 26 seconds it's just been completed. And we have your integration details, which is some details are who ran this integration, at what time, and who initiated it, and all stuff. And then we have your logs, which we'll go to later. We have your event describing here what is the data source. This is the report, and the alternate output format is set to CSV. And this is your report URL. So this technically is your report URL, right? If you use the same URL and you use your credentials, you should be able to output the same CSV file from anywhere. Like this URL is accessible via, basically your HTTP protocol, right? It can be accessible uh, via a URL. So let's try simply putting this URL on a postman. Okay. I'm going to enter my credentials. Maybe once again is that. This is going to result in the same output, right? I'm not doing it from Workday, I'm doing it from a third-party postman, but I still see the same information. So this URL is nothing but a REST URL, basically. So this is also called report as a service. You can use your report based on your URL as a service. So instead of PSP, if I want a simple XML, I just change it to simple XML format, so then I would get an XML here. Or same file, simple XML. If you want a JSON, you get the same thing. Okay. So this URL is nothing but a RAS URL. So people, you might hear about the RAS in future. It is report as a service. So that is nothing but enabling your report as a web service and giving access to someone to call that report remote directly, right? As a service directly. So this is the URL usually used. And then you have your work attachment, file name, and everything. Go to process info, the times and everything. Process history will give you history. Output files will give you the output file that's created. It's the CSV, same thing, the CSV output. Messages will give you a data source size, how much data I got from a report, and all this stuff. That's it. It's a simple EIB. So you are able to get your report in a CSV format as an output file, right? Pretty easy. So EIB is, it's not that technical because you don't need any lot of technical knowledge to build an EIB and generate a file, generate a report as an output file, right? So it's pretty easy. What I'm going to do is instead of printing a simple CSV, I'm going to do some formatting here. So on my custom report, I would say alternate output format. I'm going to leave it to blank. I'm going to let Workday pick the Workday XML output automatically. I'm going to add a transformation. There are two types of transformations. The first one is custom report transformation and custom transformation. Custom report transformation is where you can configure your report transformation within the UI. Right? You can say what is my field length, what is my header row, what is my footer row, and everything. Custom transformation is building an XLT to transform your report output into your required formatted file. Right? So that is custom transformation. I'm going to pick custom report transformation first. So we haven't created any custom report transformation yet. So I'm just going to create it now. So we can create new custom report transformation. This give us blank, nothing. So I'm going to create it now. Just click OK, we'll leave the delivery as is. Okay. So you have your transformation created, right? By default created by Workday. I can go to Actions, go to Enterprise Interface, and say Configure Transformation. And then this is a page where you can configure your custom transformation. You can say whether I'm my file is a delimited file or whether my file is a fixed width file. So right now I'm going to keep delimited. Instead of comma, I'm going to do a pipe delimited format. I'm going to print pipe as my delimited. What is my line ending? Is it line feed or character written or line feed and character written? Right now, what is my report generating? Right? What is my EIB is right now generating a line feed by default. Right? What if I want both CR and LF? I can do that. Columns. Do you need any prefix characters? Like, do you want to enclose them in double quotes? Yes, why not? Or really not needed. I don't need any prefix and suffix characters because I'm not separating with comma and I don't expect the field having type. Column width, usually used in fixed width. Okay, when you're picking the fixed width thing, you can pick column width. Right now, not needed. Adding characters, not needed. So I'm going to just go basic. Okay, I don't like this header. I'm going to say worker. Ran, whoever runs this report. Like this. CFL library, this will be as of total base space, terminal height data project. See header. So you can include your default headers or you can do an optional header directly here. Right? Instead of including default headers, you can add an optional header. So how do I include an optional header, right? So I want my, let's put employee ID as my field, separate pipe. And then afterwards, my header, I want to say, okay, hire date, term date, then what else? Must see, hire date, term date, pay as of, then worker, something. And then I want to also see current date or something, right? I can do an @ rate. And I can click on this button, I believe, to add a tag. I can add actual start date and time at the end. Okay. In your footer, I'm going to include the file name. We'll include pipe, include the line count, pipe, row count. Right. Can I add any custom here? You have to build your field on an integration event, I believe. That object can give you a calculate field also, right? There if you want to put something. Okay. That now this column heading override is not necessarily doing anything because I override my headers. I override my headers with these headers. Click OK. Done. So you configured your custom report transformation now already. So click launch. You launch the integration. I'm going to say instead of default value, I'll say get the current user. Or we have item. Let's say this prompt. Okay. From date, pick up 2 years ago plus 1 day or 2 years ago. Okay. File name, everything is same, or like use a different file name. So first file, I say first EIB transformation. Document policy default. Okay, let it run. Give it a second. Okay, let's refresh. File now. You see it is now divided with 5, and you have your header that you set, and the tags, right? Where whatever tags you're putting, you included the current moment or whatever it is from your actual date, start date and time of the reading this event. And on the final footer, you have your row count, record count, which in this case the number of rows is equal to the number of records. So you have this. Okay, first EIB transmission file is your file name. Okay, pretty simple. Pretty simple printing a CSV file. Let's do the same thing. Let's do a fixed width this time. Let's configure the transformation instead of going. I mean, you can change it to any delimiter you want. You can do a pipe, you can do a tilde, you can do anything you want, or you can do something whatever you guys want, right? Or let's change it to fixed width this time. Oh, we did not see the carriage written and line feed. Everything is CRLF now. Okay. CRS carriage written, line feed as LF. Okay, when I go back to using fixed width, now I have to say what is the maximum width of each of my fields, right? So I would say my employee ID is maximum of 10 characters. My hire date is of course maximum of 10. Termination date is also 10. Total base pay, I would say a maximum of 10, and I would want it to be padded, left padded with 0 as my padding character. So I want it to start with zeros and whatever, fill the 10 characters in there. So I can do 15 if you want. Same thing here, 15, pad with 0, left padding. This one I want it to be 5 characters in length, and bases are fine. Okay. That is it. That is where you give your column width. You create a fixed width file. Click OK. Done. So, oh, it's more of a text file now, but anyway. Now you have your fixed width. I mean, headers we did not change, so it's still showing as 5, but never mind. So you have your employee ID, you have your 5 digits of your employee ID, and the rest of the information is filled with spaces. So if you see closely, you'll have 5 spaces out there. And same thing with the hire date and termination date as well. Those are obviously 10 characters in length with the dash in between. So you have them as 10 characters, and wherever there is empty, you fill term date with spaces. Base pay, 15 characters in length, and first 5 or 6 characters, whatever it is filled with 0, added with 0, and the rest of the information is out there. And same thing with here. And then this is my 5 character length, whatever the field, worker field at the end. Like 4 plus 1 space, and carriage written and line speed. So that is a fixed width file, right? Probably everybody already know what fixed width file is. So that's the fixed width file. So fixed width files usually have fields with the already exact length specified. So based on that length and everything, it will truncate, or it will add spaces, or it will pad with whatever character you specify. Okay. Questions until now? Questions? No questions. So see that. Okay. So just a quick recap, right? So we have our outbound EIB. What we're doing is we have our outbound EIB set for data source as our report. We configure any alternate output formats. If we don't want any transformation to be done, if we want the transformation to be done, just leave it blank. Do a custom report transformation to easily configure your transformation. And you deliver the file to the external sites or internal sites. And then so you have your workday attachment right here. So pick SFTP or something, right? It would ask me all these credentials, and right here, if I scroll down, I have, okay, let's go workday attachment. Let's go for a sequence generator. So there is this option called sequence generator file name. So you can use the sequence generator to create dynamic file names based on your runtime parameters. Okay. So in order to create it, go back to your tenant, create sequence generator. This should be. Increment by 1. So this is the sequence. If you want to increment it by for each run, you can do it restart every day. I can say restart every day. Use time zone Pacific. Okay. Format. This is where you write your file name format. If you just hover it here, you should see the file name format right here. The example, we have file sequence year, month, date, .csv. Right. In this case, we'll write our first EIB file. Is you would give a sequence number, STQ, Y, .csv. This should show us the file name automatically. The sequence Y should show one, right? STQ small. Last name used one. The last name used to 0. Used to be 0. Okay. My file name. Okay. Just click OK. You use the sequence generator, bash the sequence generator right here. Come on. Click OK. When you run this integration, I can just relaunch it. I was not able to launch it. Ooh, can I not do that? Just a minute. Relaunch. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I need to launch it. I'm gonna go launch. Look at my name here. Oh, there it is. File name is determined by the runtime. I go all next sequence for integration. So this is where you pick this option. It will automatically sequence your stuff. Okay. You see your output file name formatted in this way. So it starts with 0. You just rerun it. It's going to give you 1. It should increment automatically. The file name sequence should automatically increase for each this run, and it will reset like we specified here. It will reset every day. Okay, what happened? Should automatically move to the next one. Increment by 1. We started today. Increment by 1. SEQ file name. Did I do it wrong? Did I just say it is incrementing? Whenever you launch it, the next time you run it, it's going to change to 2. That's the sequence number. Usually, it is used when you send the files every day. I mean, daily, multiple times. You want to increment your file number, so you're not putting the same file again and again, or same file name, or overwriting your existing file in your FTP server. Right. That is that. And then next is we're gonna see one more here in our delivery. The thing I want to discuss is the keys. What is PGP key? What is the key and all things, right? So PGP key is used to encrypt a file. Right? It is used to encrypt a file using some encryption codes, right? Whereas SSH is basically your connection. SSH authentication is basically your connection to your to logging into an SFTP server. Instead of a username and password, you would use username and SSH key, right? I don't think we have access to create them, but basically the difference would be PGP we have. Okay. SSH is for logging in. You log into the system, whereas PGP is more for encrypting the file. Okay. So when you go to PGP keys, right? So let's say it's always a key pair. PGP, you always have a key pair. You have a private key and you have a public. Yeah. So you have a not here. Okay. For PGP, you have what we call the private key and public. So these are in a pair also, right? It's called a key pair. Okay. So who wants the private and public key in the first, right? So let's say if you are creating a file, right? Whoever is decrypting it, okay, whoever is decrypting it will use the private. So for decryption, you would use the private key, and for encryption, you would use the public key. Okay. So you would encrypt with your PGP public key, and you would decrypt with your PGP private key. Okay. That's the difference. PGP public key and PGP private key. Encryption and decryption. Okay. So whoever is decrypting it, let's say your vendor is decrypting it, right? Your vendor will create a key pair saying that, okay, he'll create a key pair himself and he'll share you the public key. which you will configure in Workday and encrypt the file with public and send it out. So he can decrypt with private. So you don't share private keys ever. Let's say if you are decrypting it, you're getting a file from a third-party system and you are decrypting the file on your end, right? That means you would need a private key yourself to decrypt it. So you create the key pair. So how to create a key pair is just go create PGP. I don't think we have. Yeah, we only have view, but anyways, let's view a private key. No items, cool. Public key, one item. Public key is given by a third-party system. Like someone created this public key and posted it here. So this is your public key, how this public key looks like. Yeah. This public key is used for encryption. Like in this case, you create a private key pair and you give this public key, whatever you have generated, you'll give it to the vendor. So if he'll encrypt it with the public key, you will be able to decrypt it. That's your PGP. So inbound, that means file coming to you. You create the key pair, you give the public key to the vendor. Outbound, file going to the vendor, when you are encrypting it, they'll create the key pair, they'll give you the public key, you encrypt it with the public key. SSH is also similar, right? You have a key pair also there, X509 key pair. So what you're doing is, essentially, instead of giving a credentials for someone, you would give them a key, which the other end of the key lies with you as a secret, and whoever comes with the key should be able to access that. Should be able to access. Should be able to access information. So let's say if the vendor, if you are sending a file to the vendor, right? Usually that is when you will use that key. You are sending a file to the vendor. You create a key pair. You give them the public key. So they'll store the public key on their end. The public key that you send. And the only way to unlock that SFTP server is now using the private key that Workday has. Right? If you are sending the file, you would create a key pair on your side, X509 and key pair, and share it with the public key, share the public key with the vendor. That's the only difference. PGP is like literally opposite. PGP, if you are sending a file, they'll create the key pair. Whereas if you are sending the file, you will create the key pair. Okay. Any questions on these topics today? And get to assignment as well. Today, rest of the time we'll use for assignments. And if you have any questions on the assignment, doubts on the assignment, and where is everyone? Any update? If you want me to review something, just let me know.
Krishna, I have a question. Actually, I'm facing an error. Can I share my screen and open the report?
Sure, go ahead.
Can you see my screen?
Okay. Yes.
See, even in your report which you created, so I don't see anything in like group column headings. So in my report, it is enforcing me to give all this business object by grouping by fields. So what is that actually? What is the difference?
So what's happening here is if you scroll up, go to advanced. Go to the advanced tab right there. I mean, the advanced tab below.
Okay, okay, got it.
Have columns here. You enable the report as a web service, right? You enabling it as a web service. So that is why your secondary business object, now they want, I mean, when you're formatting an XML, secondary business object is like a tail element, right? So it is also looking for, okay, now my tail element also needs my XML alias.
Okay.
So if I'm not creating my XML alias right in the right side, it is erroring out. So that is why it is forcing you to create a group column heading.
Okay. Is it something like sorting, like grouping by like employee ID and work city?
It's not grouping. So when you run your report, right, the secondary business object appears. So let's say in an example we have seen dependent, right? On the top, you see only the dependent section separately. It says it's coming from a secondary business object, right? So that secondary business object also has a header. You want to change that header, you change it in the group column heading over there in the below.
Okay.
If you want to change your secondary business object header, right? That is where you change it.
Right.
The same way, if you want to change the secondary business object XML alias, you change it there.
Okay. So it means that so when I enable that web service, then only it will ask me to group these columns, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It will ask you to just populate it, so it creates that XML alias for you automatically.
Okay.
So just try to use this in a simple XML in an EIB or like the way I did, right? You got your report URL.
Sure.
Go to click OK and go to web service, view URLs and look for XML. You'll see the difference between why this XML now has two column headings or secondary business object.
All right. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions, anyone? Anyone else? So how is everyone with the assignment? Can I look into it, or you guys need still more time? I didn't get time.
I need a bit more time.
Okay. Yeah, just try it out before this week, because it also includes an EIB portion of it as well. So the continuation of the report, like you've seen, right? You use it in an EIB. So we use the same in an EIB as well. But I want the EIB assignment to the next cycle anyway. But it still has time, but by the time you complete both, that should give you a complete picture.
So Krishna, for this states, you asked us to put a 2-digit character, right? So for each state, we have to create a calculated field for 50 states.
Not necessarily. That would be a lot. There is a field in Workday that gives you the 2 characters there.
It's a state ISO code, actually, the field.
Okay.
Yeah.
From primary work address, business object.
Yeah. I mean, that report, that assignment that I gave, right, it also has a filter criteria on the top. I want everyone to read that as well. I don't want all the transactions. I want only changes with certain transaction types.
Okay.
Okay. If no one has any other questions, we still have 5 minutes yet, so we can ask that we can hang up and kind of get tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll look into XSLT. So when you get time in your work or somewhere, I would recommend everyone to go to wtschools.com and then go for XML. Just go through the introductions. What is an XML? What is the format? What is the parent element? What is the parent element? And all the stuff, how it is formatted. What is the namespace? And XPath. What is an XPath? How do you navigate your XML? And XSLT is also pretty straightforward. We'll go through XSLT examples tomorrow, but XML and XPath are more like, XML is more like a data format. There's nothing I have to explain a lot there, but we'll just go basics. But anyways, just if you just go through it, you'll have a better understanding, or you might have some questions tomorrow with the chat. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you, Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna.